Our next class is the class order. Again, you'll find inside of the library SSD folder. Right at the top, we're going to start with the namespace, which is SSD, and then we're going to make use of \PDO exception. This is the place where we're actually going to use those methods which we've created inside of the database class for dealing with transactions. And I'll show you later on, obviously, how to use them and how useful they become in certain situations. Now, another thing, we extend the application class, obviously, here. Application class, the table property is protected. So we're going to rename all these, basically change the scope of all these to protected rather than private. So protected table, and we're going to change it on all of these properties, obviously associated with the table. Then basket and items remain the same, but we are going to remove fields, values, and private ID. ID, because obviously we already have the property called ID without the underscore, which is a public one inside of the application, so that's no longer needed here. And then we don't need these because we are now using methods, obviously from within the application class, which are already processing all the inserting and updating. And if not, we're not going to be creating any statements here. It's all going to be obviously done using external methods. So if we remove both of these, and now our properties look okay. If we scroll down, we are going to start with the create order method. As you can see, we have a statement here, if statement, which consists of two declarations. Basically, we're checking if is an empty user and is an empty items. So what I'm going to do basically is to cut all this, and we're going to create a new method right above the create order method. So a few new lines, and we're going to call it private function underscore. Let's call it is user and items valid. And then we're going to pass user null by default. And that's all we need to pass because the other one is obviously property of this class, so we can use it directly. And then simply return. And we're going to check it this way. Is user and items valid? Obviously, this statement will return true if user isn't empty, and if there are items, obviously, if this items array obviously is an empty item, so that's going to return true. So now we can use this method obviously inside of this if statement. Let me scroll up a little bit, and we're going to go for this, and then underscore is user and items valid, and we pass the user as parameter, and that's a little bit clearer now, obviously. Next thing we're going to be dealing with is this business equals business get business. Obviously, we don't have this method anymore, as you may remember, because we are actually using the get one method from inside of the application class, which is obviously the class that the business class inherits from. And now what we need to provide for this get one is the ID of the record. As you may remember, inside of the business class, we had business ID constant, and this is what we're basically going to be using here. This business ID has the record of our business assigned to it, so that's how we obviously are going to be dealing with this now.